Solo and Soul with Phinesse. Solo and Soul with Phinesse. Solo and Soul with Phinesse. Solo and Soul with Phinesse.
Welcome to another edition of Soul on Soul with Phinesse. It's your boy, Phinesse. You know how we do. We keep you soul connected, doing great things here on the show. The show that was created for the independent artists, mainstream artists, but it's all about the soul, baby. You know how we do. So you can follow me on our social media platforms, Soul on Soul with Phinesse, and the Phinesse is spelled with a PH. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, say it with me, because I'm a professor of soul. Got it? Good. All right. Today, very special guest. I'm actually staying in Baltimore this time around. I got to get some of my Baltimore folks in here on the show so you folks can hear us worldwide. And speaking of, let me not go any further. Soul on Soul with Phinesse is being brought to you by the Soul Media Group and, of course, Urban Influencer. I got to make sure I say that in there now. So you get to hear us all over the world on the Soul on Soul with Phinesse platform and also on the Urban Influencer platform. So you can hear us everywhere where you want to check out good podcasts and good music. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm in Baltimore, and Baltimore is so talented with the arts, music, literature. There's so many great independent artists here, but this brother here is amazing because not only is he here in Baltimore, but he's willing to help independent artists. But y'all gotta get your mind right. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But he works with the Grammy boards. He is a true, this is what I'm saying too. He's a true engineer and producer. And you know how I do. We talk about this series of What is Blackness. This brother is one of the ones I'm gonna have on the show because he does things that other folks say, well, that's not black. He don't care because that's what he does. He cares about his craft and what he does. Mr. Maurice Carroll is with us on Soul on Soul. I keep saying Soul on Soul with Phinesse. What's up, Maurice? How you doing today?
Hey, what's up, man? I appreciate you for that intro. That was amazing.
I gotta represent where I'm from. And you are, to me, you are one of my heroes in this business, especially in the area, because you walk quietly, but you carry a big stick.
Thank you. That's very intentional. Thank you.
Yes, it's very intentional. Yes. So let's talk about your career. How did you get involved in doing music?
So I'm one of those people that people kind of hate on, actually. Not me personally, but the environment people hate on. I'm one of those people that was born into music. So I started when I was a child. When I say child, I mean 3-4 years old. They put me at a piano, like just stood me at a piano because I wasn't tall enough to sit on a bench and then, play the keys or anything like that. I wasn't that great. I am one of those people that my parents and grandparents stood me at a piano, church piano, like, oh, look, that's cute. And when the song was playing, I was able to find the notes that whatever the song was, I was able to find where it was and find what the melody was. And this is age 3-4 years old. And so that's where it started. From that point, I kind of matriculated all the way until maybe I was like maybe 11, 12 years old. By that point, I could play chords, I could hear harmonies, and I started getting hired as a church musician where they were like, oh no, we need to pay you money because you know what you're doing, even at that young age. So that's where it all started. And then of course, through schooling and so forth and so on, I ended up at Morgan State. I did a few years there, learning some music, and exited there, didn't get my degree. I exited there and started my own full production studio house, basically. And when I say full production, for those that may not know, it was really something where you could come in and say, hey, I have an idea, I want to be an artist. And the structure the structure of the business was basically something where it was, oh, okay, you come in with an idea. All right, you need music. If you don't write, you need writers. If you don't have a producer, this is how you produce music. If you don't know what mixing is or mastering is, this is what it is. And you could basically walk through the entire process from idea and concept all the way to finished product and going into marketing and distribution when with that business. And I did that for maybe, I want to say maybe 20 years or so. 20 years, about 15, 20 years or so. And somewhere in there started my record label, which was Stinky Face Music, and been rolling ever since.
And what's amazing, folks, is being modest. I always, it's interesting because I look at where people been. Mm-hmm. That's how you know. There are a lot of people in the music business, a lot of people, I'm this, I'm that. But where have you been? Mm-hmm. Maurice has been all over the world. Share some of those locations, because your music, what you're doing, actually afforded you the ability to go to other countries. So talk about some of that.
All right. So what happened was I start with my production, my music production. I found out through analytics, and analytics comes through understanding how music business works. It's not something that will just walk up to your doorstep and say, hey, I'm here, I'm analytics, use me. You have to know where to go and how to use it and how to leverage it. I knew that because of my history. So I found out that I had fans in Australia. I had fans in South Africa. I had found fans in Europe. I had fans different places that I wouldn't have known if I didn't know how to analyze my analytics. And so one of the people that early on in my career, when I was mentoring and giving music business advice, one of my clients, he came to me and he took my advice, went on, did his thing very quietly, built the reputation. And then he ended up landing some tours overseas. And the way that the music business works is that sometimes it's people that you know, sometimes things just happen. It's very few times that things happen the way that you plan them. That's really how the business works, In this particular instance, this particular artist, he came to me. I forgot because I had my head down and in the rotation of just doing what I do. I didn't know who I was helping and what they would do if they were actually listening to me and applying what I told them. This particular artist did. And he went on and learned things and then grew and grew and grew. And then was like, circled back and he was like, hey, I need a drummer. It just so happens that the drummer that he hired was my son. And then found out that the artist, hey, I need a keyboard player to go on tour with me. My son was like, well, hey, my dad plays. You want to audition him? I auditioned. I got it. We proceeded to go to different countries in Eastern Europe. So we went to Azerbaijan, we went to Lithuania, we went to Latvia, we went to Estonia, we went to Angola. It was a couple of different, I can't remember all, but we went to a couple of different countries, at least a week and a half long for each country. And I'm playing keyboards, I'm helping the sound engineers understand our sound. And for those that may not understand that, there are several skill sets that are required to be in that position. And so, like, you can be a sound engineer here in America and be like, oh, you got the X32. Oh, you need to set the EQ here and set the reverb there. But it becomes very different when you're in a country and they don't speak English, and you have to still be able to communicate through music or through sound engineering what is supposed to happen. And so sometimes there were several different moments where our interpreter wasn't around, and I had to use like a kind of sign language to kind of say, hey, wait a minute, let's turn this way, this way, and turning the knobs and making sure visually they understood what was happening while they could hear what was happening. And even though it wasn't my job, because the touring agent, we're going through government agencies, and they have it set up where, the engineers are booked through those type of agencies. And it's like, well, they don't have our sound right, and they don't know how to fix it. And our interpreter is gone. Maurice, can you step in? Yep, I got it. And then I walk in or walk over to the engineer. I hold up my first finger, like, wait a minute. All right. And then pointing at the board, like, you see this, you see this, you see this, and then making adjustments, and then pointing at my ear so that they can understand what the adjustments are that I'm making, and pointing at the specific instruments that I need to have these certain EQs and certain reverbs and certain delays and certain compressions and certain limiters and like things like that. Going through all of that, it speaks to your skill set. Like, if you know what you know, it doesn't matter whether you can speak that language or not, because the music and the engineering can speak through language barriers. You know what I mean? And so I did that in several different countries with this artist. And, when I came back, it personally, for me, it added a confidence to me that I didn't have before. And it was just like, yo, you know what? You do know what you're doing. You just explained to somebody that don't speak English what the audio requirements were for an artist that's only speaking in English, and you help them be better on stage. And your secondary thing, that was the secondary thing. Your first thing was to be able to play the music on your keyboard and stay with the tracks and the in-ear monitors or whatever. But you were able to do both in those settings. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you for saying that I was being modest, because I was trying not to say.
You know better than, don't play with me. I'm gonna bring it out of you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, now you see why he's on the show. Because I gotta educate you folks. And don't listen to me. Listen to someone who's telling you. You gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break right here, Maurice. But before I do, as always, I like to give the guests an opportunity to share their social media and their website so people can follow them. Do you mind sharing that, please?
Oh, thank you so much. So I kept it easy, and this is something that I always tell artists to do. Keep it simple. Don't always do things, and one social media thing is one name and something is something else. So for me, I kept it very simple. All of my social media is at Maurice L. Carroll. So if you were looking for me on IG or on TikTok or on YouTube, it's Maurice L. Carroll. If you're looking for me on my website, it's mauricecarroll.net, MauriceCarroll.net. And for this social media, you just add the L in between my first and last name, and you will find me.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the independent artists. So come on back. Soul on Soul with Phinesse and my man Maurice Carroll. You know how we do. Come on back. Learn something. Get educated, people. Welcome back. Soul on Soul with Phinesse is Phinesse. My special guest, Mr. Maurice Carroll. You're going to learn a lot today, ladies and gentlemen. I like to surprise you with guests that know what the freak they're doing. And Maurice definitely knows. A lot of modest, humble guy, but he knows. One of the things I noticed on your website, Maurice, you said you want to coach as many artists as possible through the entertainment business. Why is that important to you?
Because there's money to be made. And as competitive as media would like to position the music industry, there's room for everybody. There's so much room for music to be made and licensed and sold and all of these different things. Media makes it seem like there's limited space, and there's not. And in order to be positioned for those different things, you have to know the business. And the reason why I stay on this subject is because I know what it is to be a creative and to be like, oh, I have this idea and I'm dope and they're going to like it because I'm dope and it's nothing else like that out, blah, 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 blah. I get that. But if you don't know the marketing that has to happen behind it, if you don't know what the qualifications of the audio that it needs to be in order for it to be marketed, then you're doing your creativity a disservice. And so I really like to focus on that because I meet talented artists no matter what they do, if it's beat making, if it's playing an instrument, if it's rapping, if it's singing, if it's, hey, I'm great at being a background vocalist. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just a matter of knowing how can you plug into the business. It's called the music business for a reason. It's not called the music art. You know what I mean? And so it's a matter of understanding what the business actually is and how you fit in. It doesn't make sense for you to jump into a game just because you like watching it, but you don't know what the rules are, you know. And I think, and I know that if you are an artist who learns what the business is first, you'll go way beyond what you ever thought. And the two things that I think that are very important in this process is always being willing to learn and always be willing to execute. And in that what'll happen is you'll make a lot of mistakes, but mistakes are not bad. And most artists want to come out with their music. It got to be perfect. It got to be this. I should have put this drop here. I should have put this drum whatever here. I should have did this riff there. The music business is about creating a product, running it through the system, make a mistake, learn from the mistake, rinse and repeat, do it again. I got another. I should have did the background vocals this way. Okay, cool. Make that, do that. Now push that through the system. Oh, well, what else did you do wrong? Oh, I made the mistake of the mix wasn't right. All right, cool. Make another song. Get the backgrounds right. Get the mix right. Now, what else did you learn? Oh, I didn't have enough money to put behind this, or I should have hired this producer, or I should have hired this musician to play this part, or I should have used this DAW. Like the whole process of music business is creating, walk it through, learn what you could have did better, rinse and repeat. That's the execution part. And I think that people hold making mistakes at such a high level that it makes it fearful. And it's like, I don't want to make a mistake. When I put it out, it's gotta be right. It's gotta be this, it gotta be that. But those this and that's, you have to make mistakes in order to find out what the industry is going to get behind and push. So which means as a music creative, you really have to be creative and know I pushed out 2 or 3 or 5 or 7 songs and it didn't do what I thought they were going to do. Okay, well, guess what? Make 5 or 6 or 7 more, because if you're creative, you can do this all day, every day. Just learn the process, push it through. Don't be so attached to the artistic format of what you're doing. Just do your best, push it out, learn, make mistakes, rinse and repeat.
All right, that's Maurice Carroll giving you guys some good advice that want to be in this music business. Take it seriously, but share your art, not hoard your art. So we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to get into the latest song from Maurice. And I got to ask him a question about some of his favorite artists. So come on back. Soul on Soul with Phinesse and Maurice Carroll. We'll be right back.
Do you know how deep love can hurt? I'm connected to misunderstanding. Do you know how deep pain can feel? when your heart feels like it's shattered into pieces. Do you know, deep silence can break the very spirit of this woman? Do you know, the soul can't relate when it's missing its connection? And I feel like falling in a black hole, and I feel like dying deep inside, and I feel like crying, but it won't come out. And I feel like something just ain't right.
We're back, Soul on Soul with Finesse, bringing you the best music, best variety with some of the hottest independent artists, known or not known. This is the show to come to hear some advice, some new music that the other radio stations is not playing, you know your Uncle Phinesse got you. Come on through. Today, my guest is Maurice Carroll, great engineer, great producer, top of the class, everything. Go to his website, folks. Get some more information and reach out to him. Because there's so much more I want to ask him, but I only got a set time. And Maurice, give him that website one more time.
Yeah, that's easy. It's Maurice Carroll at .net. MauriceCarroll.net.
All right. Now you had to have some favorite artists that you like listening to. Who were some of yours growing up?
So for me, it's not really artists, really. I'm mostly motivated by music as a whole, because the way that I view music is communication. And so it doesn't matter to me what artist it is. It could be R&B, hip hop, it could be Quincy Jones, it could be Timbaland. It doesn't matter who the artist is. It's more about the music and what the music is being allowed to say and how it's being said. So that's been my motivation, really. It's listening to different genres. Oh, okay, well, what is this bluegrass artist I never heard of? What are they expressing in their music? Not just what they said, not just the lyrics, but the melody that they selected, the mix that they came to determine, who they decided to play on, how did that person play on it? That's where the motivation is.
All right. So quickly, give me your definition of soul music.
Soul music is music that comes from, it's an undefined feeling that is expressed through music.
All right. And now you're coming by to drop off your new single. Tell us about the record we getting ready to play.
Okay, so you will be playing Ooh Work It 2-step mix featuring Lil Day. That is a song that it was out originally a couple of years ago, got us some traction. People on the dance floor dancing to it. And really my intention was to take those same people and introduce them to the house music genre. So I did a mix to it that has more of a dance music feel to it.
All right. And so Maurice, I'm gonna let you introduce it, and then we're gonna play it right here. Soul on Soul with Phinesse.
Okay, so you're about to listen to Ooh Work It 2-step mix featuring Lil Day.
All right, Soul on Soul with Phinesse and Maurice Carroll. Enjoy, and we'll be right back.
down, two-step, what side you prep? Do you think one time hop in? Who's next?
Maurice started something. Now I'm gonna have people calling me up about this record. I'm gonna have to add it on the Urban Influencer mix, my ad list for the week. That's a hot song, of course.
Thank you.
Done by Maurice. You know, it was a joy to have you on the show. I gotta have you back again because there's so much. And we talked about this television show we're gonna do, House of Soul. I'm not telling y'all because we got to get it on the air first because I want to like take an idea. But we're gonna do some television and do some things. But I gotta have you back, man, because you got so much more to offer and give.
Thank you.
And if we do a music conference, like I said, I want you to come speak, man. You know, people need to. Okay, I got you. Definitely got you. But before we get out of here, I'd like to give the artists a chance to have, with some closing words. Anything you want to share with the listening audience?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say there's another song that is also out that I produced and composed with the artist, a Grammy-nominated artist by the name of Carolyn Malachi. And the song is called Under My Own Weather. It's also a song that fuses R&B, jazz, and house music, live horns, live strings. And for artists that are looking to better their career, to get started in their career with the music industry, I really, really, really encourage you to understand the business as much as you can as you walk through the music business. So that means basically, you know, learning the language of the engineer, learning the language of the producer, like learning the language of everybody that you're going to be working with, whether it's the management, the lighting staff, like just kind of really learning the business in and of itself, learning what the contracts are supposed to be, learning who's supposed to be on your team, and make yourself a better asset. Don't look at yourself as an artist. Look at yourself as a product and ask the questions. How can I sell this product? What is this product doing that people will want to purchase? And if you look at it that way, you can make a lot of headway without being one of those mainstream artists, and you can make a living doing it. Even if you apply it just to your local area, you can make a living doing it if you apply those things.
All right, Maurice Carroll, and always a pleasure, my dude, and we'll talk later on. All right.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, bro.
No problem. That's gonna do it for this edition, Soul on Soul with Finesse. You know how we do. Same soul channel, same soul time, and of course the same soul host. And of course, I got to give you my idol, Mr. Don Cornelius. Closing words: peace, love, and soul. See you next time. Soul on Soul with Finesse. We out. Peace.
been another Soul Media production.